Our next speaker is Susan Starbird. Susan and I have known each other a long time, and my last name is Wing, her last name is Starbird. She once said to me, living in West County, we had a lot of, what was your name before you changed it? And she said she actually considered having a business card that said, Susan, it was my father's name, Starbird. Susan owns Starbird Creative. She does social change marketing, and she's going to talk to us about what kayak racing taught her about business.
Good evening. Welcome to my metaphor. I hope that it's useful to you too. You know, I started kayak racing because I couldn't take the stress of working in an advertising agency, and I was under the idea that as long as I was scared, I must be having fun, which is the same principle that's brought me here tonight. Anyway, there's some things that you need to know about kayak racing, and these are the important features. Give you a minute to digest. This is not watching birds from a kayak. Kayak racing is sort of a cult, as you see on the right. Kayak racers spend 25% of their time paddling, 35% of their time commuting to paddling, and 15% of their time talking about paddling to their friends on Facebook. There's a pretty steep learning curve. You're going to spend a lot of time doing this when you first begin. It's very humbling. You can't hide your mistakes. You have to really like the water. You have to really like the water. And you have to practice a lot your own self-rescue techniques because they need to be there when you're going to use them. I have notes. I know where they are. Anyway, you know, if you want to dominate in any field, you have to pick a field that's pretty unpopular. If the barriers to entry are too low, then the field is going to be filled with competition. So the less people want to do it, the more you want to go there. Now, if I had known what the other risks were, I could have listed them here. In any case, any insurance salesman can tell you that that's the truth. You are going to have accidents, you are going to make mistakes, you just hope that your accidents don't come back to bonk you on the head. And you also hope that you learn from your mistakes and that you make fewer and fewer of them over the years. Now, when the competition begins, no one's going to be hanging back to support you, no one's going to give you an inch. And you aren't going to give anyone an inch, which is exactly why age, experience, and treachery beat out strength and youth every time. Now, if you don't make your decisions in kayak racing, then your decisions are going to be made for you. And failing to make a decision is in itself a decision. So the best you can hope for, since the hydraulics are always going to win in the end, is to finesse. Now, let these two former Olympic paddlers teach us a couple of lessons about what you should be paying attention to in your space. Like, who else is on the course with you at the same time? Does anybody recognize the fellow on the right? Well, every shrewd operator knows that you have to make the most of every single motion. And if you can't carry yourself, you have to have teammates. Put your faith in your teammates that they know what they're doing, and then all you need to do is go along for the ride and yell, "Whoa, Nelly!" Now, somebody cleaned out my backyard in order to create this sculpture, because I believe that you can never have too many tools. You need to have a Monday boat and a Tuesday boat and a Wednesday boat, etc., etc. But you need to also try not to fixate on your equipment, because some people will try to deceive you by looking really wimpy. It's their competitive strategy. It might be your competitive strategy. Everybody who has a legacy system knows that there is a time to give it up. And when you want to give it up, you want to get away from it as fast as you can. To get to the marketing part of it, you have to excel at something that is really different if you want to get any attention at all. That's what market positioning is. It sometimes doesn't even matter whether there's any function to the thing that you can do. Now, when you get attention, it might not be the attention that you want. Negative attention can make you feel very, very lonely and very, very small. You need to have a plan. There's always somebody out there who will claim that they can do things faster, cheaper, and better than you can. All you have to do is let them prove it. Can you see where the kayaker is under the word get? Now, here's a guy who's really gloating because he's got this big catch. But what he's forgotten in his gloating is that he's sitting in obviously shark-infested waters in a boat full of blood. Now, the sharks are all around us, and there is no reasoning with sharks.